What's going on, RotoGrinders? Dean here at Dean7904 if you want to get all technical on me. It is the morning grind once again. This week I'm filling in for Stevie TPFL, who's concentrating on NASCAR and Counter-Strike and all sorts of good stuff in the DFS space. Of course, there's not a lot of DFS content out there these days, given the current situation. We've been having some fun doing some interviews. We did that last week. And today we're doing something a little bit different as well, too. We're going to be doing Leonardo DiCaprio. He's done a lot of great movies. Who knows?
That was poor phrasing. That was poor phrasing.
Well, Grant, should I introduce you? Okay. Okay. I brought some guests on today. Some are more rude than others. We will introduce Grant first. Grant Neiffer, who, to be fair, by God, he wasn't supposed to be here today. By God, that's his music. That's his voice as well. Grant, you just rolled out of bed, essentially, and we're recording this early on a weekend. And, you surprised out of nowhere. I asked you if you want to do it, and I think you're a little bit thirsty last night, kicking back on Grandpa's cough medicine, and I believe you're sobering up at this point. And we're also doing video, too, so you can see a freshly faced – there you go. He's still thirsty. What's up, Grant?
No, those are left over from last night. Oh. I have not cleaned. If you look at my backdrop, there's a lot of fun things in there.
Well, yeah, we're on the podcast feed, and we're also on the YouTube as well too. So you can see our awesome radio faces and our awesome quarantine hair too. It's good times. It's a real disaster. If you guys all want to show it off, we'll show it off in a second. But Grant, say hello to the people. Thank you for joining us. Grant Neiffer, of course.
I'm looking at my hair. I look good.
Now you don't want to talk.
Good. I've not done this thing called showering today.
Well, what's the weekend and you just woke up, so it's understandable.
Guys, if you're quarantined and you have a pool and you live in a hot area, if you're actually showering every day and not just jumping in the pool straight out of bed because you have no work, you're just doing life wrong.
There you go. I'll bring in Sammy Reid. Sammy, do you have a pool, and are you doing quarantine right? Are you just showering in your pool?
If I'm not showering at all, I think that's the correct answer. They do have a pool in my condominium complex. I've not frequented it yet, so yeah, I'm just going grungy, man. 1 shower a week. Let's go. Who cares?
You don't have a pool, but you have a mustache, and I that impressed me. And you had awesome hair as well too.
Thanks, man.
It's a pretty impressive setup you have over there. So
yeah, it's my I don't give a damn look. It's very posh these days.
How does your wife feel about it? Out of curiosity, she's on board.
She hates everything about me right now. What can I say?
All right.
Pretty standard.
Seamless segue. So we are talking about Leonardo DiCaprio today. We're talking about Leonardo DiCaprio movies. We were talking about Twitter the other day. Yeah, I'm going to introduce you. Oh, yeah, gotcha.
Hey, who's that fourth guy?
Well, shut him out.
Jeez. I see you.
And the last seed is Shawn.
Dear God.
Man. The Critters 3 of this podcast.
I know. Oh, it hurts.
So we are going to be bracketing Leonardo DiCaprio movies. Of course, these brackets will appear I'll be tweeting them out next week, and we'll have a good time as far as figuring out the top 20 Leonardo DiCaprio movies. We were talking about on Twitter the other day, and I was going to say, who better to bring in than Hollywood's own Hollywood socialites, a smug movie critic, Shawn Duckiesuccumbs, of course, longtime RG listeners know him from such things as Night Sweats. What's going on, Ducky?
It's an honor and privilege to be here.
Lies.
Yeah, I mean, with such esteemed unbathed company. I mean, this is really,
Well, you did not shower today, be honest.
I just showered before I did this, actually. Yeah. I'm proud of showering. I'm all for it.
Fair enough.
I like rookie mistakes.
Yeah.
So here's what we're doing. Here's the deal. We were trying to figure out how to bracket the Leonardo DiCaprio's movies, and we were talking about Twitter the other day. There was a lot of backlash, a lot of fighting. A lot of people have strong opinions, which is great. So I was like, hey, let's have some brackets. We did this before in the past with Seinfeld, and that was a lot of fun. I'm meaning to do this again. So I was doing Seinfeld episodes, and now let's do the best Leonardo DiCaprio movies. And just the way brackets work as far as NCAA style, we were thinking 16 is probably not enough. There's too many good movies, but 32, of course, is too many. So, Grant, pay attention here because you missed this pre-show conversation. We're going to have 20. We're going to have 20 teams, 20 movies, and 4 playing games. So, in theory, 13 would play 20, 14 would play 19. With that said, without further ado, well, I guess we're going to start with our ones, obviously. We're going to power rank the ones, and they go to the 2, 3s. And by my math, I guess it's not really 4s, right? Just 3 would be up to 12, and then 13 through 20 would be our playing games. Does anybody have any strong, like, DiCaprio takes us off the gate? I feel like Grant probably has one.
His best movie ever was Man in the Iron Mask.
Is Michael Jordan suddenly in the podcast?
Okay.
I know he's a big fan.
I'll jump in then after that. There's 4 movies that you pretty much have to put as the 1 seeds.
Oh,
I would argue. I mean, these aren't my favorites necessarily, but I think if you're just going by general consensus, Titanic would have to be a 1 seed because it made $1 billion and it won all the Oscars. So you kind of go with that. I would put Departed because it also won Best Picture. I'd put Inception because it's Inception. And I'd put Revenant because he won the Oscar for it.
Wrong.
Well, okay, we have a wrong on this. So.
I think he's wrong too, but you tell him why he's wrong.
Gangs of New York has to be a 1
seed. Because
it's one of the greatest movies of all time.
Bill the Butcher is like the greatest villain of all time, right?
Yes, yeah, it wasn't even
Bill the Butcher.
I'll
because of Leo that much.
I was gonna rewatch it just to not to step on some other podcast, but I was gonna watch it again, and I just was like, I don't need to.
Well, the biggest problem back in the day, why it's not known as the greatest movie of all time, it's because you had to put in 2 separate VHSs because it was that long.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, that and Titanic.
Yeah, those movies. Yeah.
The drawing scene was on the second tape. So the second tape.
So you just
was always missing in my head.
Yeah, you just watched the second tape of Titanic. So
I just watched 1 minute.
I'm willing to defer on Revenant, but I mean it is the 1 movie he got an Academy Award for, so I think it's got to be somewhere. It wouldn't be necessarily my pick, but I would. The other 3 definitely.
Well, are we using this as Leo's best acting jobs or Leo's best movies?
Best movies.
Well, then him getting an Oscar is irrelevant.
Okay. Well, I mean, it did have a lot of awards to go with it too, but
so did all his movies.
I'm willing to defer on the 4th one. I think the other 3 pretty much kind of stand for themselves.
I want to hear Sammy's take.
Yeah, so I think the thing we need to understand about Leo is he's kind of like Kevin Durant-ish, right? Like, he surrounds himself with a lot of talent. He wins things, but he surrounds himself with a lot of talent. Like, dude, he's going against Tom Hanks in Catch Me If You Can, Daniel Day-Lewis in Gangs of New York, which, I mean, he's probably one of the best actors that we've ever seen. You know, Brad Pitt in Once Upon a Time, Tom Hardy, Mark Ruffalo. Like, he has these great ensemble casts in The Departed and Wolf of Wall Street and Aviator and Django. He surrounds himself with a lot of talent. And so I don't think it's wrong to put those talented casts in his top movies. You know what I mean? Like, I like The Revenant. I really enjoyed The Revenant. I thought it was great. But like, if we're looking at his greatest movies, like, that's his Castaway. You know, that's his The Martian. Good movie. It's great. I don't want to watch it right now, but I do want to watch other of his movies. So I would not put it as 1 seed.
How much do you value rewatchability?
A lot.
Oh, it's a big part of it.
Yeah, it's massive.
I mean, that's why I'm willing to defer on a Revenant, because I agree. It's not. I mean, it was one of those movies I watched. I was like, oh, this is a great movie, and then I haven't watched it since. So I completely understand.
Right, and if we're going like pure rewatchability, I think like Wolf of Wall Street is in contention for a number 1 seed. Catch Me If You Can is like one of his most insanely rewatchable movies. We're not going to put it as a 1 seed just because it's not on the level of some of these others, but like pure rewatchability, I think Catch Me If You Can is like an ace film.
I should get this out of the way, by the way. I've not seen The Revenant. I've seen like all of his like, big time movies, and I know that's his Oscar one, and I'm supposed to have seen it. I was going to see it last night, except for a friend of mine tracked me down and made me play Jackbox games. Does anybody want to confess to be that person?
It was me. And then Dean kept me up till 3 a.m.
Well, I mean,
he's a notorious 3 a.m. human being. He's a night owl, to say the least. So
it was my idea. It was my sharp idea to do this podcast in the morning. I don't know what I was really thinking, but
that was a bad idea. Let me tell you something. So I saw The Revenant. It was one of the only movies I've ever gone and saw by myself.
Oh,
and at the time it came out, like I wasn't working, and so all my friends were like a bunch of losers, and my wife didn't want to go see that movie. She's like, forget that. So I went in the middle of the day and watched this movie, and I got stony as all get out and went. And I sit down in the theater, and I got all these nachos, drinks, and I'm like, all right, this is going to be awesome. And then it starts, and I was like not emotionally prepared for this movie. Like you're just like, oh snap! Like it starts off hot, and but it was a great experience. And The Revenant will always have a special place in my heart. But I don't think The Revenant's a movie where you're like, yeah, dude, like I just really want to watch The Revenant right now. And that's where I think it falls short of like Castaway.
I've got a question. I'm not really a huge marijuana guy, and
You damn well should be.
just never got into it too much. But yeah, going to a movie, like what are the smartest things buy snacks? Like what do you bring in there?
Yeah, I mean, so the smartest people bring their own things in. I never do that because I never really think ahead. So I just spend like $35 at the snack bar. But dude, I get dogs, nachos, and then I feel like you should always have some sort of sour candy to just really like play a game on the palate.
Did you ever like dip Sour Patch Kids in nacho cheese while you were really stoned at a movie?
You know, I think I would have needed to smoke a lot more to do that.
Yeah, the sweet.
I've done it before. Not proud.
Grant, it sounds like you're projecting. You're getting flashbacks to this happening?
No, I actually remembered I used to do that when I was a kid because I was weird.
Intentionally?
Yes.
Well,
and how do you remember?
Glad to know things have changed.
Well, they had these like, they weren't Lunchables, but they were like essentially just chips and then a side of nacho cheese that they charged $5 extra for because it was put together.
Right.
And I would always have, it wasn't Sour Patch Kids, but sour worm. And me being a weird kid with a lot of fat, I would dip it in there and then eat it. I'm like, wow, this isn't too bad.
So you guys
Also,
mentioned Rotten Tomatoes, by the way. Just Sammy, you were talking about Catch Me If You Can. Would you believe that Catch Me If You Can, amongst Leonardo DiCaprio's movies, the highest ranking Rotten Tomato score according to critics? By 5% too, 96% approved.
Yeah. I mean, Tom Hanks is like the most universally beloved actor, so when he's in a movie, that gives it an automatic boost, I think.
I am surprised we didn't do a Tom Hanks bracket instead. I know, but that's.
Did you prepare for Tom Hanks?
I could do Tom Hanks right now. If we had. Wait, that sentence didn't come out right. Hold on. I'll have to rephrase that. I could do a Tom Hanks.
Is the Wilson scene the like most emotional scene of any movie ever?
No.
Wrong.
I don't even know if it's the most Tom Hanks one. I mean, the ending of Captain Phillips is like when he's losing it in the doctor's bed.
I haven't seen it. Don't ruin this for me.
Spoiler alert.
Sorry. We're going to be spoiling movies. I haven't seen Revenant yet, and I feel like it's already been ruined for me, but this isn't about me. It's about the listeners.
Well, Leo plays a bear in it, so.
Yeah, I know.
Yes.
It's a musical.
Bro, you got to watch the bear scene. It's hardcore.
I've heard
got to get stoned and watch the bear scene, bro. Like, get in there.
Gosh.
So wait. So we have 3 of the 1 seeds locked.
Do we know? We haven't decided on that.
I mean, I'm asking.
Okay, so I agree with Titanic. Like, it's not on my personal top 4, but just in terms of like what it meant. It was also like career-wise. I mean, Titanic's 1997. That was his like arrival.
Yeah.
Right. That was his arrival as like an A-list actor. He had been in some other stuff, and he was getting famous, and people liked him. But that was like he's arrived. And then it was later that he had his big runs. Right. It was like 2000 and what is it? Like right around 2000, he did like The Beach and Catch Me If You Can, Gangs of New York, Aviator, and Departed. And he did that in like a 5 or 6 year stretch. And then later, like at the beginning of the aughts, or at the beginning of 2010s, he had Shutter Island, Inception, Django, Gatsby, and Wall Street. Like these just banger stretches. But none of it happens if he doesn't do Titanic.
So 2002, I pulled up his IMDb page, 2002. Gangs of New York, 2002, Catch Me If You Can, 2004, The Aviator, then The Departed, then Blood Diamond, Body of Lies. I loved Revolutionary Road. I'm probably higher on that than most people, especially those that are married. Probably did not enjoy that movie.
Can we talk about Leo's accent in Blood Diamond before we move on?
That's going to severely not. He's going to take a hit for that one, right? I assume.
We're knocking this movie down. I can't get on board with it.
Yeah.
Okay. So I didn't have Titanic as one either, which is funny. Not all of us kind of concede. It seems like that Titanic is not our personal one.
Right.
But
You know why it was the highest grossing movie of all time?
Tell me.
It's because 13 to 16-year-olds went to go see it like 7 times.
Yeah.
Because of one scene. They sat through a 3-hour movie for one scene. And they paid
Part where
$7 for it.
it started sinking, I'm assuming. Is that the scene you're talking about? Spoiler alert.
Are you talking about the King of the World scene? Or are you just talking where she shows a little boobie and everyone's like, oh, it's lit?
I know this because I know someone who saw it 8 times in theaters.
Did he not have a computer of any sort?
Yeah. No, it was 1997.
Yeah. People had computers in 97.
The one computer was in the living room because it had to be a desktop.
Yeah, the internet was like not a thing.
Yeah, no, you were dialing up still, basically. No, most of the people I know that saw the movie 8 times were single women in their 30s that just kind of fell into the trap of that movie, and it was the first movie that women would go see multiple times that many times. And
look, if you did not have your own Titanic double CD or DVD at the time,
yeah,
and tried to play it on dates with different girls and just had it with you, you were doing things wrong. IMO.
I was more of a Notebook guy.
Hey, solid go-to.
Yeah,
we'll accept it.
To Ducky's point, yeah, I know somebody that went took like 4 or 5 different girls to Titanic. Like, it's just the default. Like, hey, you want to go see a movie? That's like obvious, like no brainer. You're going to see that over like basketball or whatever.
It was the first blockbuster chick flick.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
So we got Titanic as a 1 seed. What else do you have there, Ducky? Ducky is going to keep track, and at some point we're going to do a screen share. So
I think Departed has to be on the list because, I mean, it's very rewatchable. It's a Best Picture. It's Scorsese. It's
great cast.
It's amazing cast.
Yeah, deep cast, and I think there's no way you can't have that as a 1 seed on this list.
Number 2, by the way, in Rotten Tomatoes, as far as the score, 91% for The Departed.
Yeah,
we all agree we're all good in The Departed as a 1 seed.
I am good with it. I just think the cast is so tremendous that. I mean, when you have your main characters as Leo and Matt Damon, and then you just have these like hot performances from like Mark Wahlberg coming in and Baldwin, it's just like I don't know. The entire thing is a banger from front to back, and even though it's a kind of long movie, I think you can just watch it over and over and over.
Has anyone seen the remake? I'm sorry, that was a remake. Has anyone seen the original? I believe it's from Japan or China.
No.
Anybody see that?
Yeah, I did not see it actually, surprisingly enough. But I'm starting to go back on some of those. Was that Infernal Affairs?
That sounds right. Yeah. That sounds correct. It's supposed to be excellent, but I've never seen it before.
Yeah, I'm sure it's fabulous. I have no doubt. But it's just haven't gotten around to it. Of course, I haven't gotten around to every Leonardo DiCaprio movie, so
I thought you were prepared for the podcast, Ducky.
I watched one movie. You gave me 2 days. I watched one Leo movie I hadn't seen, and we'll get into that. So it's but yeah, there's not many that you don't have to pay money for online. It's I was looking for free movies that I haven't seen.
That's why I haven't to the Revenant yet. It's $4, and I'm like, $4, come on. There's so many other things, and there's
like I never saw Blood Diamond, and I'm like saying, do I really want to pay $3.99 to watch a bad Leo accent?
You don't.
Yeah, exactly.
Spoiler.
So I just said, okay, because it's weird. There's like a 4-year period I didn't see any of Leo's movies, and now I see them all pretty much. But it was just like in the mid 2000s. Didn't get around to it. So I'll have a hole here or there. But yeah, Departed definitely was must see, and I watched that again recently, and it still holds up. Still incredibly watchable movie.
We got Devin, our producer, chiming in our chat, and he said Inception. He's making a pitch for Inception being a number 1. He said has to be a number 1 for sure. Grant, confirm or deny?
I will stand for this movie. So I think that Inception is one of these movies. It's a lot of people are like, it's too convoluted. It's just like, Christopher Nolan trying to show off, yada, yada, yada. But they kind of missed the point of Inception. Like, it is a fun, visually stunning caper movie with an original premise and a fantastic cast. Like, that cast is off the chains. It's amazing. And to me, I just think it's super solid from front to back. You cannot like Christopher Nolan's style and just say, oh, it's too convoluted and it thinks too much of itself. All that stuff is made up. Like, all that is just like made up stuff from other people, like thinking what other people think. And it's like, no, dude, if you just watch the movie, it's incredible. And I'm a big Christopher Nolan guy. Yeah. It's hard for me to even like figure out which of his movies I like the most. It really rotates for me. But I think Inception, like when you put everything together, the cast, the sets, the score, Devin saying the score is tremendous. It is so freaking bulletproof. It's fantastic. And frankly, I get tears in my eyes during the last scene. People are like, oh, I'm going to talk about the ending. Dude, it makes me emotional.
Can you explain it?
That's the stuff.
20 seconds?
No, I can't.
But you're okay with that.
You're damn right I can't.
Yeah.
But I do think he's back in the real world. That's my theory. I'm not a conspiracy guy.
Nolan's amazing. It's not my favorite Nolan movie. Dark Knight, that whole trilogy. Memento is one of my favorite movies of all time. That movie's brilliant. And The Prestige, that was Nolan as well too, wasn't it?
I'm big on The Prestige. The Prestige might be his best film.
So good. It's underrated.
Really good.
It gets buried for some reason.
So good.
I see Grant nodding. We just turned this into a Christopher Nolan podcast out of nowhere. But
I mean, I would do that. I would just throw Leo to the side right now if we could just smash like Christopher Nolan's like 6 or 7 movies.
Would you scooch over if you were on like a pallet of ice and let Leonardo sit next to Christopher Nolan, or you just kick Leo off and say good luck?
Well, that's the other thing when we're talking about this. Like, to have a Scorsese movie as a 1 seed, I think having a Christopher Nolan movie as a 1 seed is also a real proper thing to do.
Okay, Inception's not my one, but Grant, I'm not going to say it's wrong. Well, I'm happy to go with the group here. What's your thoughts here, Grant?
I will give Inception a 1 seed if we can get Gangs of New York a 1 seed.
Well, there's no bartering. This is not how it's supposed to work.
Let's see. I actually did this. I did have Gangs as a 2 seed. I might be willing to concede it.
I think I Gangs as a 3 seed actually. But
oh, come on. That's how disrespectful.
I agree to disagree. By the way, though, my last Inception comment, I'll stand for Marion Cotillard any day of the week. So
beautiful.
I know. I'm 100% in on Inception being a 1 seed. So it's I think we're all good. But and as Devin mentioned, the score is awesome in Inception as well. Most Nolan movies have great scores. So
yeah,
there's a lot to go with on that movie. And yes, is it a tad confusing? Sure, but I don't mind that. It gives me something new to look for every time I watch the movie. So 100%.
I just like how I can sound condescending anytime I talk about it.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't understand it? You didn't get it?
I'm sorry.
For you?
I'm sorry if you didn't understand it. It might be a little bit above your IQ.
Maybe Encino Man is more your speed.
Yeah, it's like...
Yeah, this Inception cast.
For anybody that doesn't know, we almost hijacked this podcast and made it a Brendan Fraser bracket.
Brendan Fraser is my favorite actor of all time.
My big problem is that I always confuse Brendan Fraser with Jerry O'Connell.
I don't know who should be more insulted there.
They all like meld together for me, so I have like visions of Brendan Fraser and like Jerry Maguire being like, "Oh, my word's as strong as oak,"
Brendan Fraser, I love you, Kangaroo Jack.
So if Brendan Fraser and Jerry O'Connell were listening to this podcast, which they won't be, who would take more umbrage to the fact that was said right now? Who would be more upset right now? I'm leaning Jerry O'Connell. Actually,
it depends on the year. They're asking this question, I think.
Yeah.
That is definitely okay. Brendan Fraser is the better actor. He's a better actor than Leo.
This is the most earnest thing that Grant has said.
What is going
so
on?
far.
We're still just on the 1 seed.
I have had so many arguments about Brendan Fraser. Every one of his movies are fantastic.
Was your wife?
That's complete. George the Jungle is not a fantastic movie.
Monkey Bone.
I said it was a terrible movie, and I loved it.
Well, yeah, you have okay. The reason why you're like the everyman. You're here to balance us out. Like Ducky's kind of the Hollywood snot, and I said it was in polite way possible.
Uh-huh. The Mummy Trilogy may be the best trilogy of all time.
Which is?
The Mummy Trilogy. That's if you're counting Indiana Jones as a 4 and Star Wars as 9 movies. The Mummy might be the greatest trilogy of all time.
Have you heard of The Godfather by chance?
Never seen it, any of them.
Well,
This is why Grant's here.
Have
Movie
you ever
connoisseur.
Have you ever seen a little trilogy called the Smokey and the Bandit series?
Well, nobody's seen that, Ducky.
Yeah.
You haven't lived yet, then. I hate to tell you.
Back to the Future. I mean, forget 3. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. They meatloafed it. The first 2 are good enough.
Well, yeah, Smokey and the Bandit, same way. Smokey and the Bandit 3 is a train wreck of epic.
The Mummy 3 was fantastic. Also, the Scorpion King offshoot.
Well, speaking of trilogies, that brings up Critters 3. Are we considering Critters 3?
I want to hear the case for Critters 3 as the 1 seed. Let's go. Let's hear it.
I can't do it. It was his first movie, I think. That might be the only argument you could make toward Critters 3. But it would be like putting Leprechaun in Jennifer Aniston's bracket.
Leprechaun that goes to space is like amazing. Like 4, they think they're out of ideas. They're in the writer's room. Like, I don't know why we did a 4th or a 5th, but screw it. Let's just go to space.
By the way, shout out to STL Cards there for the Leprechaun reference.
He loves the Leprechaun series.
Dean, bro, I want to get a Gangs of New York take from you.
It's just a phenomenal. So here's the thing: we talk about rewatchability. It's incredibly watchable. Like for me, it's like you're watching a movie and it's like you stick with it because like, oh, I got to keep watching because this scene's coming up, and I got to keep watching because this scene's coming up. And that's one of those movies. It's like Boogie Nights as well. Like I think Boogie Nights is the most rewatchable movie of all time because every time you're watching it, it's like this is great, and oh, this is coming right around the corner. It's gonna be amazing.
You know what? It's a shame Leo wasn't in Boogie Nights. Like, can we just make that a 1 seed also? Can we just get it in there?
He had the role. The role was offered to him first, so it's
really.
Yeah, Dirk Diggler was supposed to be Leo.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I mean, that's a different movie to me, though. If Leo did it, though.
Yeah, because Wahlberg was like almost basically unknown at that point, like as far as an actor,
which made the role more genuine to him. I think
big time. There's nothing like the bad porn acting in that movie, and I think that's why Julianne Moore was like so amazing in it. Like that's something that made her really incredible. She pulled it off. Like,
Ducky, you worked on some of these movies, didn't you? I feel like we talked about it briefly. Is there a movie or two in this conversation you've worked on to some degree?
Oh, now you got to make me look. Well, I did do some DVD work on Gangs of New York, and that was the problem. I remember seeing it. And we were all excited. We were going, oh, wow, we're going to have a best picture we're going to get to work on. This is exciting. And we all saw the movie. We went, yeah, it was good. But none of us felt that same thing you guys feel right now. It's like, I think the biggest problem with the movie was Cameron Diaz was poorly miscast.
He was fine. I mean, not spectacular.
For greatest movie, you don't want the lead actress to be fine. So
yeah.
I mean, that's a fact, but Daniel Day-Lewis is in it, and he's the butcher, and he's just like, dude, he just comes in so hot in everything he does to the point where I feel like it's more of a Daniel Day-Lewis than a movie than a Leo DiCaprio movie. And that's not the qualifications for this seating. It's just like the movies that he's in. But I mean, when I think of Daniel Day-Lewis movies, I think of Gangs of New York, and I think of There Will Be Blood.
Is that why we're not talking about Django? Django is a number 1 for me. It's not necessarily a Leo movie. You know, it's more of Jamie Foxx is probably the lead in that movie.
Right.
More of a Samuel L. Jackson movie than
well,
a Leo movie.
He's in it. Christopher Waltz
really
as well. That's an amazing cast.
It's a Tarantino movie that has Leonardo DiCaprio in it.
Right.
He's the third lead, probably the second lead. I don't really know, but I love that movie, and I love the cast, and I love Tarantino. So maybe I'm just like Nolan. Like Nolan and Tarantino are my guys.
I'm so with you right here, Dean. Like I'm so with you. Django is probably in my top 3 Tarantino movies. Mm-hmm. I think it's really close. Like that and Inglourious Bastards, I think as time has gone on, have really like elevated to the top for me. I love Django. I've watched that movie like 50 times. It's fantastic. I would go with it as a 1 seed if you want to get it in there. I'm in.
Yeah. So, and Grant, did you want to put your thoughts in as far as Gangs of New York? You're saying it's got to be a 1. Tell us why. Is it just because of Daniel Day-Lewis? Because that is kind of the problem. I don't know if that's a problem, but perception wise, like Daniel Day-Lewis is like amazing, greatest villain of all time. The Butcher is just such an awesome character. That, my friends, is the minority vote. There's so many good lines in that. John C. Reilly in there too. Gotta love John C. Reilly.
Oh yeah,
character actor.
Oh yeah.
Sell me on or sell all of us, Grant, because there's also Gangs of New York. There's Wolf of Wall Street. We haven't really talked about a ton. There's Django.
Man in the Iron Mask.
Well, we mentioned Man in the Iron Mask.
That was the other movie I worked on.
Depending on the qualifications, that has to be a 1 seed because he's in there twice.
I'll just go with my bluntest. Man in the Iron Mask sucked.
That's fine. I know that I'm going to die on this hill alone.
Shawn has a bias against movies that he's worked on, I think.
No, not at all. I mean, there's some movies I fight for all the time, but it's yeah. Of course, I've worked on some movies like Zombie Strippers, so it's
Jenna Jameson, right?
Yeah, classic.
We talked about this. I don't just snot off the dome. That would be weird.
Off the dome.
It's his most rewatchable movie is Zombie Strippers.
That would be weird if I knew that. Just like, yeah,
I will not do the meeting Jenna Jameson story on this podcast. I'll save it again for another. Or go back 10 years and look for an old Night Sweats. I'm sure it's been said on that one. So it's no, it was one of those movies. Man in the Iron Mask. I don't even know if I have it in the top 20.
You guys saw the Jordan documentary where Jordan met Leonardo DiCaprio after one of the games, and he said, "Hey, Man in the Iron Mask." So who was more excited to see who? I think Leo was more excited to see Jordan, but Jordan seemed to be excited to see Leo.
Jordan's got it as a 1 seed.
Jordan probably has it very high. I wouldn't doubt that. But also considering Jordan's draft picks, I wouldn't necessarily trust his taste.
Man in the Iron Mask is the Kwame Brown of Leonardo DiCaprio movies.
It's the Frank Kaminsky of movies. It's like I would trade four future movies for Man in the Iron Mask, definitely. And he didn't do it. He said, no, I'm sticking with Man in the Iron Mask. So
I feel like the twos are going to fall into place once we get this one. Once we knock out the one, right?
So,
all right. So wait,
I'm willing to give on if you think. I mean, if I was going to argue Tarantino, I might go Once Upon a Time in Hollywood over Django. But I mean, honestly, it's a coin flip.
I disagree. I don't want to besmirch Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I think that was good, but I just think Django's better.
Okay, but that's fine.
So we have Django, Gangs of New York.
I'm very hard on this take. I'm very with it.
I'm willing to, if somebody's got a stronger feeling on it, I'm willing to give on this. So,
does anybody want to pitch Wolf of Wall Street as a 1?
No.
Did you guys hear who actually
what was that?
Produced that? Did you guys hear who actually produced that? Like the whole story behind the Indonesian hedge fund billion-dollar fraud scandal? The guy Joe Low that actually produced the entire movie.
I remember hearing about Joe Low. Yes, I couldn't tell you the whole story, but I remember hearing it when it happened. Yeah.
Essentially, he stole $3 billion. Roughly from the Indonesian government in an Indonesian hedge fund, and he used that to just get in with celebrities. Yeah. He created his own production company, and he bought the rights to Wolf of Wall Street, and then put like $300 million into it or something.
In defense of Joe Low, who hasn't taken millions of dollars from an Indonesian hedge fund?
I mean,
we've all been there.
Billions.
I mean, really, when we get down to it, we've all been there. I did it just to meet Rose McGowan, so so we've all done that. My problem with Wolf of Wall Street, and I know this is going to piss off half the DFS community because this is probably, if ever there is an aggro movie that works for DFS people, it's probably Wolf of Wall Street. But I don't think anybody's I mean, I can watch the movie, but I don't think anybody's likable in the movie. I don't have a rooting interest, and it's probably about 30 minutes too long, which is the case for a lot of Scorsese movies.
Where are you going? What are you doing that you can't spare 30 more minutes?
I think it could be a tighter movie.
I mean, it could be, but all they do is fill that 30 minutes with more drugs and sex, and frankly, I'm all right with it. Like, great. I mean,
I'm not naming who this movie reminds me of in the DFS community. I won't name, but if you know who I'm saying, Do you really want to see 30 more minutes of that person? And we'll
It's
just
Dan Bach, isn't it?
and we'll leave it at that. Yeah.
Not Dan.
Not doing it. Not doing it.
By the way, John, the one person you can root for, Mark Ruffalo. Not Mark Ruffalo. Rob Reiner. Rob Reiner. It started with an R.
Oh, Rob Reiner in Wolf of Wall Street. Okay. Well, how long is he in the movie?
He is fantastic. He is the moral compass of that movie.
Yeah, he's in it for 8 minutes, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, take some of the 30 minutes of somebody being high on blow to add more Rob Reiner. I'm fine with that. But
Shout out to Margot Robbie, by the way, just randomly.
lovely lady.
Yeah, Jonah Hill. Yeah, Matthew McConaughey.
Matthew McConaughey's cameo in this movie is like very iconic. So
I agree with that.
Really tremendous. Probably, Margot Robbie looks great in everything. Probably the greatest she's ever looked in any film. I would go out of my way to say. Jonah Hill is fantastic. He is really great in this movie. I think the movie, it's a little long, but it's fun. I'm really okay with this movie. Also, I've worked in sales, and so if you work in sales, everybody, you have to watch Wolf of Wall Street. It's like a thing. So
I can see that.
Yeah.
Django versus Wolf. Well, what do you have for me, Sammy? Just give me one word.
Django.
Ducky?
Django.
All right. Doesn't matter what you think, Grant. Django versus Gangs of New York. Grant.
Django.
I'm going to let Grant go just to add some suspense.
Grant,
I'm going to say Gangs of New York, and he's going to say Django.
Yeah, I'm saying Django.
All right. So we got the 4 1 seeds.
So we can make Gangs the first 2 seed.
Yeah, we want Gangs to be in the same bracket
Titanic.
as Django. And then the people, when they inevitably meet.
This is a good take.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, I'm fine with that. So right now I'm putting them in. I'm creating the bracket as we speak because Dean has never used spell or numbers or anything like that.
Why do you gotta out me like that, Ducky? I'm not very tech savvy. I apologize.
Dean, so you said that the 2 seeds were going to kind of fall into place. I'm really curious to see what falls into place.
Well, Gangs of New York and Wolf of Wall Street fall into place, right?
Okay, I'm on board with that.
Is everybody agree with that?
Yeah,
I do.
Ducky?
I'm willing to give.
I don't have a take on the Revenant. I'm yielding.
Honestly, I think Aviator deserves more love on this too. We haven't even talked about Aviator.
Aviator is really good. Aviator is very 2020.
Aviator is an absolute 3 seed.
I think it's a 3. I agree with Grant, and we'll get there. And the first word in Aviator is they're spelling out quarantine. I don't know if you guys remember QUAR, and then later on, he's obsessively washing his hands. I was watching it the other day, and I'm like, this is so. Howard Hughes is way ahead of his time. All right, so does anybody have any Revenant takes? Is it a possible 2, or is that more of a 3 as well? Because again, I have not seen the Revenant, so I have nothing to say on it.
I'm on it as a 2.
Sell me.
I was gonna have it as a 1, so I'm okay definitely with it.
Okay.
So
the problem is we need Catch Me If You Can probably as a 2 seed.
Correct.
So
if we had Gangs of New York, Revenant, Wolf of Wall Street, and Catch Me If You Can
Dude, I wish that I could share my screen with you. I made this last night, and my 1 seeds and 2 seeds are exactly as we have it. I feel like I'm the puppeteer in this whole thing. This is great. I'm very happy with how things are shaking out.
You guys saw what I did. Grant didn't, but Sam, you saw what I did, and right now I'm losing big time. And I got the first 3. I'm okay.
Dude, I am like a really elite bracketologist as things are going right now.
That's a tough space in the DFS community. There's at least one that we're aware of that's in the top 20 for bracketologists. So they're going to be reading out our next it up, I'm sure.
Lots of witnesses.
So we're going Wolf of Wall Street 6. It's a 2 seed, but
yeah.
And then we're going
Revenant and Catch Me If You Can. Does that sound right, guys?
Yeah. Catch Me If You Can is just so incredibly great. It actually warms my heart to hear how stand it is on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, it's funny. I was pulling up the Rotten Tomatoes. That was number 1 as far as the scores, and I'm buying time as I'm scrolling back down to find it again. Because go ahead, Ducky.
I would like Aviator to be the 10th one because I think Revenant versus Aviator. I might argue Aviator's his best performance.
He's great in it. Like, yeah, it's a great movie too.
And I think if you have a second round, if it makes it that far, of course, of Revenant.
Like that. I've only seen it like once, and it was a while back.
And you were
so
stoned,
I don't have
right?
strong takes.
Yeah. He was on mescaline at the time.
Little horse strengths. Let's go. Special K, baby.
I know. He punched a hole through the window of his Chevy Chevette, and he was.
So, do we have the twos settled? We got the ones as Django, Departed, Inception, Titanic. The twos as Gangs of New York, Wolf of Wall Street, Catch Me If You Can, and The Revenant. Does that sound correct, everybody?
Yeah, this is such a good bracket. This is so sharp.
And Ducky, are you having fun? I mean, we're trusting you with building the potential matchups down the road.
If you'd like me to show the bracket as it is right now, I can put it on the screen right now.
Yeah, let's get a visual.
Let's do it.
Okay, so
guys, has anyone seen Marvin's Room?
Sure,
No.
Ducky has.
No.
I have not seen Marvin's Room. That is one of the ones I've not seen.
I've never heard of it.
It's sad family drama.
It's got Meryl Streep, Diane Keaton, and De Niro in it.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah,
So that tells you
what year is it?
He's young. Yeah, DiCaprio's young in it.
96. It's got
he's
84
playing like a teenager in it. Yeah.
on Rotten Tomatoes.
So we're doing it this way, where it's just 1 through 16, not 1 seeds, 2 seeds, because that's how the bracket was made. But right now, we have Titanic, Departed, Inception, Django right there. It goes down to 16. Yeah, that's why I'd love to see Aviator right here in 10, because Aviator Revenant would be a good matchup.
But I agree. Aviator's a 3, so yeah. I'm good with that.
I also think we should probably put Once Upon a Time in Hollywood next, because I think Catch Me If You Can and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood's a good matchup as well.
Do we want to put the two Tarantino movies against each other?
I mean, do you think Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is that low? Deserves that low of a ranking, though? I mean, that's the only.
Oh yeah, fair enough.
Issue. I mean, because right now we're starting to get into flawed but good movies, and I don't think Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is flawed but good. I think it's a good movie generally. So I think we're going to start seeing some holes coming up in the next 5 or 6 after, I'd say, Aviator.
Well, I think this is probably about the point where I start standing for Shutter Island. I think that feels right.
Shutter Island is the movie I watched this week to prepare for this. I hadn't seen it.
Oh, I'm excited for this take.
Okay. It was pretty good, actually. I was surprised because originally it got a lot of bad hype when it came out. Mm-hmm. That's probably why I didn't see it. And I mean, at first, the first few minutes, it's like Ruffalo calling him boss and stuff like that. I'm going, okay, this might be problematic. But I mean, honestly, it has a good cast. It has the tricks worked. I won't say any of the tricks, but the tricks worked. And overall, I thought it was a really good movie.
You didn't see
Shutter Island is my least favorite Leo movie.
Really?
Yes.
Give us the take. I'm excited for this too.
I saw the ending coming at the beginning, and partially this was marketing, but it said the greatest twist since The Sixth Sense. I'm like, oh, okay, well that gives everything away. I'm not going to give away the ending of the movie, but if you can't figure it out from that,
that helps. I didn't see it then because I forgot about I forgot that was the ad campaign, so I just watched it. I wasn't even focused on. I mean, I'm sure there was a twist because they said it was Hitchcockian, so automatically that means there's a twist. But I mean, I remember, when they market a twist, it's the worst thing because I remember when The Village came out, a week before the movie came out, my brother and I were sitting there eating dinner, and he goes, "Yeah, it's probably set in modern times." And I watched the movie, and
there's people out there that listening have not seen The Village.
Yeah, honestly, if you haven't seen The Village yet, it doesn't matter. Don't bother. But
it's good. I will stand for The Village. I enjoyed it.
Fair enough. But if you haven't seen The Village yet, sorry, it's been 15 years.
Statute of limitations.
Yeah,
I think we can say the same thing about Shutter Island, honestly.
yeah, that's true. We can't say that about Shutter Island, but since we're doing the bracket, we probably should save the Leo movies. Give people a chance if they want to watch them. But it's true. But no, I mean, I thought it was like a good, solid B+ movie. I thought Shutter Island. It was watchable, except for the fact that on HBO Go it kept freezing on my TV for some.
Oh, jeez.
But I got over it. So.
Tough.
So we're looking at Aviator, we're looking at Shutter Island as our potential threes, and also Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Are we all on board with that? Those are solid 3 seeds, Sammy?
I think so.
Grant, I know you don't like Shutter Island, and again, you have to sort of take the consensus approach, and you don't like it because you just saw the ending coming, and maybe more than the rest of us.
I hated it, but I understand that other people liked it.
I mean, I feel like we've done Grant pretty dirty. You know, he really wanted Gangs of New York to be that 1 seed. We took it out of there. He really wants Shutter Island to be the last seed. We're putting it up here. I think we need to give some concessions to Grant at some point.
We will. We'll definitely give a future consideration.
Well, what's the 12 seed? Shutter Island as the 12 seed?
I'm fine with it. Yeah.
I want Shutter Island to go against Gang in New York in the opening round.
So it just gets crushed.
Hey, Ducky, when you have a second, you can kick yourself off the join. Not me. People are they're seeing you vigorously searching your IMDb pages right now.
I forgot I was on share. Thank God they didn't open up any porn out of boredom. That would have been horrible.
Would have been so great. He types like the first 2 letters into the search bar.
The 4 seats Ducky was going to check out. We'll just say that.
He's like, where where art thou? And it's like brother and sister.
Yeah, I was just, you see how I get to these things here. I was opening up the DiCaprio page. Let's see.
Guys, any listeners right now who are listening, who during the course of this show has looked up a nude scene from the Titanic, just leave a comment in the section.
Yeah, in the YouTube section. And a thumbs up for Grant. There you go. Sure. Yeah. That's how you get engagements. You talk about Kate Winslet.
Here are the movies we have not put on the list yet, so we can discuss possibilities. Great Gatsby. I will not put J. Edgar Hoover on this list. J. Edgar on this list. I will fight to the end on that one. That was boring as hell. Revolutionary Road, Body of Lies, Blood Diamond, The Beach, Man in the Iron Mask, Marvin's Room, Quick and the Dead, Basketball Diaries, What's Eating Gilbert Grape's an interesting choice. And this Boy's Life, and we can't forget Poison Ivy, which was one of the started the whole
Sarah
series.
Gilbert?
Sarah Gilbert and Drew Barrymore seducing Tom Skerritt.
I didn't know he was in Poison Ivy, but
yeah, he's the father. He's Sarah Gilbert's father.
The DiCaprio I meant, but yeah.
It's basically, it was the reinvention of the whole Lolita thing again, but with Drew Barrymore with frizzy hair. It was.
You mentioned What's Eating Gilbert Grape, and again, I had this. So I made one of those like pick 3. I don't know if this whole thing kind of spawned out of like I made one of those pick 3, and I put 9 DiCaprio movies and say pick of these 3 your 3 favorite. And I got a variety of answers, but of course, you know, you make these pick 3 things. There's 9 options, and they're like, "Where's What's Eating Gilbert Grape? That's his best movie. Where's the?" And everybody stands for anything that's off the board. For what it's worth, What's Eating Gilbert Grape is the number 3 ranked Rotten Tomatoes movie from the critics, 90%. That, of course, is from, that surprised me as well, too, from 1993. Johnny Depp and Juliette Lewis. I feel like I saw it years ago, but I don't remember it, so I don't really have a strong What's Eating Gilbert Grape take. I feel like it's going to be one of our play-in games. Revolutionary Road, we kind of talked about. I love that movie, but I know why people probably wouldn't. It's pretty depressing. It's not very well watchable, but I think it's also really good. We kind of goofed on Blood Diamond as far as the accent, but it's a good movie. It's a fine movie. The Beach. I know the critics hated The Beach. That was like a
bro. The Beach is my guilty pleasure. Like I kind of love any movie that's like stranded on a tropical island, but it just has all the things that I love. You got an adventure, you got a beautiful place, you have deceit, you have a standoff at the end. I don't know who that French chick was in the movie, but she was amazing.
Yeah, I forget her name now.
Yeah, there was a lot to like. I was in on The Beach.
Well, Tilda Swinton was in it. 20% on Rotten Tomatoes. And there's some French names here. I pulled up the cast, and I don't know who's who, but I'll probably just butcher it. But I thought it was better than a 20% ranked Rotten Tomatoes movie. But let's knock out our 3 seeds. What do we have so far, Ducky? We got Shutter Island, We have Avatar. Those are locked in. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, is that locked
Avatar? What's Avatar doing?
Avatar, Aviator.
Okay.
Isn't that one picture of the year?
Yeah, I know. Right now, for the 3 seeds, we have Once Upon a Time, Aviator, Shutter Island, and then we have to pick a fourth.
So, guys, does anyone know anything? I've never seen Poison Ivy, but was there 2 different ones?
There was a sequel.
Well,
it might have been Alyssa Milano.
There's a Jamie Presley one that's actually on the picture for the one with Drew Barrymore.
I was gonna say I think there's a Jenna Jameson one too.
Ducky, did you work on that picture?
I did not work on that picture.
I'm so confused right now.
I think that was one of those series that they did 14 of on home video. I mean, do you realize there's 5
Emmanuel
movies? Did you know there are 5 Wild Things movies?
There's a bunch.
Yeah.
Well, both these came out in the same year. They both say 1992.
Okay,
the 90s were weird, bro. I don't know how to answer this. The 90s were a weird time.
Yeah, now I gotta look this
There's
up.
like 4 Starship Troopers movies as well too. Like they just keep making. There's like 7 American Pies you've never seen.
Can we just talk about Starship Troopers?
Please. Yeah, dude, I put it on the other day. My wife had never seen it. She goes, "What the hell is this?" And I'm like, "This is one of the greatest films of our time." And she like wanted to divorce me.
Absolutely love it. And if was that a PG-13 movie?
I don't
see how it could be, but
it was R.
I
went to the premiere of that.
R.
I went to the premiere of Starship Troopers.
It's always a pissing contest.
Did you see Denise Richards at the premiere?
I saw Dina Meyer. I don't think I saw Denise Richards.
Strong prime for Denise Richards.
Yeah, it was
flash in the pan, but she had that stretch. It was good.
I think she's on like one of those Real Wives shows now, if I'm not mistaken.
I think once she did the Bond movie, that was the end of her. I think she put her character was named Merry Christmas or something like that, and she played a nuclear physicist. That was the end of her career.
Didn't she get involved with Charlie Sheen? That probably didn't help.
That didn't help matters either. Yeah,
she was great on Blue Mountain State though.
You can't deny that.
I think the best joke, and I forget who somebody else said this about Starship Troopers, is that they tricked the main character. Like he thought the whole thing was like really like real, and he was into it, and everybody else knew Starship Troopers was not like so earnest, but he was. And when you like watch it through that lens, it's just really tremendous.
I don't get why they didn't just nuke every bug planet.
I was not prepared.
Little hole in the plot.
So you go the Darth Vader route on.
They sent an asteroid to take out. What was it? What?
If you saw the movie Armageddon, you would know nuking a planet's not the option. It's just with big asteroids coming at you.
They said that they could nuke the planet.
Yeah.
Government lies,
I think Greenpeace stopped them from doing.
Oh yeah, no. They had one of the main things was like bugs are people too. Like they had animal rights activists, but bugs right activists.
Well, the bugs were like electronic, weren't they? If I remember correctly.
The best part of that movie was the kids stomping on cockroaches and everyone clapping. Yay, they're doing their part.
You remember way too much about Star Trek.
I think Fox News produced that movie. Now
I've legit seen that movie 30 times.
Yeah. Well,
so our last 3 seed, the options are seamless segue. It's going to sound like an edit, but that wasn't an edit. That was just a seamless segue. Blood Diamond, The Beach, Revolutionary Road, Romeo and Juliet. Any love there? Oh, another one that people kept writing into me is Basketball Diaries. What about Basketball Diaries?
People of a certain age group liked Basketball Diaries. I haven't seen it since like 1995. I remember kind of enjoying it. My pick would be The Beach, but I'm way willing to get outvoted here.
Yeah, my pick would be Revolutionary Road, but I also yield and say that's probably not the answer. But I don't know what the answer is. Ducky, what is the answer?
I mean,
Grant?
You probably would. I would argue Blood Diamond probably would be.
This is where we give Grant the call because
Grant, this is your call, Grant.
We boned him in the last couple.
Iron Mask.
No, sir.
This is why you can't be the captain.
Dude, he's like the Joker. He just wants to see chaos.
That's why you can't have nice things.
Oh gosh.
I'm willing to give Dean one and go Revolutionary Road, but I don't think it has any chance winning a bracket.
No. Well, any of these probably gets walloped by whoever it's going
Because
against.
I'll tell you right now, this is the 12. Okay, wait. Grant. Whoever is the 12 seeds playing Gangs in New York.
Okay.
Okay.
So what to you is the most interesting matchup between Gangs in New York and
I would like to see even one of his older movies. What's Eating Gilbert Grape or Diaries? Because that has the potential. Some people love those movies so much that it has the potential to actually get some traction against it. Whereas something like The Beach.
I think Gilbert Grape actually is a good choice there at 12.
Wow.
He got nominated for it. It's it's got Johnny Depp. It's got some it was kind of an indie. It kind of is a completely different movie.
Dude, let's get it in. Let's get it in there. Dean was going to have it as a play-in game, and now it's elevated up to a 3 seed.
It's like Gonzaga circa 2000 or something.
Big time. Dude, let's go. Gilbert Grape as a 3 seed. I love it.
Yeah.
So our fours.
I can see Leo playing Adam Morrison.
This is the Gonzaga of DiCaprio movies right now. I would say that.
So our fours, I think, fall in place. I could be wrong, but I think our fours are.
You said that about the threes.
The Beach, Blood Diamond.
Mostly did.
Yeah.
It's The Beach, it's Blood Diamond, it's Revolutionary Road, and it's one of Romeo and Juliet or Basketball Diaries.
What's does anybody have a strong Gatsby take at all?
It's good. It's fine.
I have no take on it. I didn't see the movie.
Grant,
I was kind of mad on it. I saw it once and I was like, yeah, it was okay.
Did you know
we got our great we got our great Leo meme out of it.
Yeah.
Did you know that I did not know the difference between Tobey Maguire and Jake Gyllenhaal until 2 years after the movie Brothers came out? I thought it was just Tobey Maguire twice. I'm like, wow, this is some great editing here. They made him play twice.
You thought it was a Tom Hardy kind of deal?
I thought it was Nutty Professors 2 The Clumps kind of deal.
Jake Gyllenhaal is now sadly making his sourdough extract while hearing this. Yeah. Okay, so I think the one that would piss most of the voters off is putting Romeo and Juliet there, which is why I'm feeling chaos might be fun.
I'm good with it. I remember thinking it was good. It's been a while since I've seen it, but
it's kind of a distinct movie of his, I would say.
It was like a good take on the story. It was like a different, as I remember, a different kind of path that they took.
Right.
Dean, what movie do you want in this seed most?
You're asking me?
Yeah.
Okay, so are we locking in as a 4 seed, Blood Diamond, The Beach, and Revolutionary Road? Are those all in?
Yes.
So what is left?
At least as long as The Beach is in there, I'm good.
What's left here is Romeo and Juliet, Basketball Diaries, Man in the Iron Mask, Great Gatsby, This Boy's Life. We haven't mentioned yet. Body of Lies is a good cast, but I don't think I've seen this. It's a movie I was like, oh, that happened, that cast, and I think it's a good director as well too.
It's one of those, it's one of those movies like, oh wow, Ridley Scott and Leo and Russell Crowe, and then it just disappeared. Nobody saw it. I didn't see it.
Is it bad?
I think it just is.
Yeah. And you mentioned J. Edgar before. That was Clint Eastwood, and it's like one of the lowest ranked movies. And Ducky, you're the Hollywood snooty kind of you like the technical stuff. And if you don't like J. Edgar, I remember you told me you didn't make it through it. If you don't like it, that means it's terrible.
I got about 45 minutes through it, I think. Yeah, it wasn't worth it.
I didn't see it.
What would Romeo and Juliet play against, Ducky?
Romeo and Juliet.
If you give it a 4 now.
Make it the 16 seed. It's a play-in game versus whatever we pick next. So we could have fun with 16 and 17.
Basketball Diaries?
But I will say this. Romeo and Juliet is a good 16 because if it wins, it plays Titanic. And those two movies kind of –
Okay.
I think that for that sake, I'd say put Romeo and Juliet there. And then
Dean, what's your favorite 4 seed? Because I want Man in the Iron Mask to go up against it.
I like Revolutionary Road, but I understand that it's not – I concede that it's not like this beloved movie. I think it's really good. I enjoyed it for what it's not an uppity. It's not a happy movie.
We're gonna put Man in the Iron Mask in the 18 spot. That's the second 4 seed because it'll play Revolutionary Road, and the winner of that plays The Departed. after
Oh
that.
gosh, Man in the Iron Mask is gonna upset Departed.
No, it's not. Unless Michael Jordan like retweets this and tells us like followers to make sure to.
I'm going to create 10,000 separate Twitter accounts just to go vote.
So we're locked in on our fours: Blood Diamond, The Beach, Revolutionary Road, Romeo and Juliet. Now we're doing our fives, the play-in games, Ducky. And as far as our fives, we're looking at Basketball Diaries, Man in the Iron Mask. I think Great Gatsby's in the conversation.
Yeah.
This Boy's Life. If anybody wants to give a hard take on This Boy's Life, The Quick and the Dead.
I enjoy The Quick and the Dead.
Quick and the Dead, I think, kind of deserves to be at the bottom of this list.
It's a really bad movie. I mean, it's really, really bad.
But it's an entertaining bad movie. And
absolutely it is. And a surprisingly good cast, even though they don't necessarily put up any good performances in the movie itself.
But it's Sam Raimi when he used to mess around with camera angles. It's kind of like if Evil Dead was a Western.
Yeah, you get a Leo death scene. That's fun.
Yeah. So I would probably make Quick and the Dead the last seed over Critters 3, which breaks my heart. But tough beat.
Tough but fair.
I still have the patience to watch Critters 1 and Critters 2, and I don't want to go into Critters 3 cold. Like, what's the deal with these critters? What's their motivation? Like, I don't have the patience for it.
You do need to see the evolution of the critters. You really do. I understand that, and it's.
Is it a Tremors knockoff? I feel like it's a Tremors knockoff, but I have no idea.
Wait, is Critter? I never saw any of the Critters. Is it similar to Gremlins? Because that's what I'm picturing in my mind.
It's basically a Walmart version of Gremlins.
I was just gonna say, like, let's not try to compare to the greatness of Gremlins.
Yeah, fantastic.
Critters nonsense.
Yeah, it's the generic brand of Gremlins. Like if they could have done the packaging with just a blue and white stripe and nothing else, it would have been.
So critters like bright light, and you're supposed to feed them after midnight.
Yeah, exactly. It's the whole thing's like that. So I mean, I think we have to. What was the big movie that we didn't say in the list? So Basketball Diaries,
Gatsby.
We have to have
Gatsby's got to be in there.
For meme purposes, Gatsby has to be on there. And also Gatsby versus. Okay, so would you rather see Gatsby versus Romeo and Juliet, or would you? Oh no, wait, we're doing. We have Man in the Iron Mask against
Revolutionary Road.
Against Revolutionary Road. So, would you rather see Basketball Diaries versus Romeo and Juliet, or would you rather? I think Gatsby versus Romeo and Juliet is good because they're both Baz Luhrmann movies. So,
of course.
Yeah, we all know that.
Who doesn't know that? Yeah.
He's the director. He did Moulin Rouge.
Google's Baz Luhrmann.
Hey, he's won awards.
Really?
Yeah.
I did actually like Moulin Rouge. So
there you go. It's like, so he's worth. I would probably put Great Gatsby in the first 5 seed, and then Man in the Iron Mask is fine. So that leaves us. I think it leaves us Basketball Diaries and Quick and the Dead.
Can we just put a Brendan Fraser movie in instead of one of those? Like, screw it, it's our bracket. Who cares?
Actually, I would be full on in for any Brendan Fraser movie. I would be in for George of the Jungle, although
it taints the credibility, I think, of the. I'm with you in theory and principle.
I think it boosts it, but agree to disagree.
Can Monkey Bone defeat everything?
Oh yeah,
Monkey Bone versus the world.
Grant, yeah, I know. Grant's gonna have the Monkey Bone versus everybody T-shirt.
Yeah, or the You Got Monkey Boned. When it starts making its way through the bracket, decimating all in its path.
You know what I almost watched this morning?
What's that?
Journey to the Center of the Earth.
Oh, of course.
Which I've also seen about 10 times.
The Brendan Fraser one, I assume.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sure.
Obviously.
Did Baz Luhrmann direct that one?
No, he didn't get around to that.
He was busy. I think. Do we have our brackets? This was like.
Well, I mean, have we decided on the last two being Basketball Diaries and Quick and the Dead, or do we? Or yeah. I mean, This Boy's Life is considered to be a big movie. It's him and De Niro, and it's supposed to be well acted. But I remember my mom watching and said, "God, that's depressing." So I don't think it would do good in bracket form.
I think probably deserves to be there ahead of Quick and the Dead, but you guys tell. I'm not going to fight over it.
I haven't even seen this other movie, but if I'm putting one on, it's The Quick and the Dead. So it's just an easy litmus test. Do I want to see Sharon Stone whooping out the 6-shooters?
Yeah,
Of course.
I think that Gene Hackman. I mean, come on, it's.
I mean, it's basically his version of the Butcher. You know, Gene Hackman's
No,
Butcher.
his version of the Butcher is Speed.
No,
I don't think that was Gene Hackman.
Dennis Hopper, you're thinking of, Grant.
I mean, they do kind of look alike. They're like old dudes with white hair. I get it.
So, do you want me to show the bracket now as it is?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's
throw
do
it
a
up.
final look here.
Throw it up.
Right, hold on. Okay, and this time I'll remember to turn off the share screen.
Yeah, let's look at the bracket, and I want each person to tell me what's going to win. Tell me what's going to win, and I want your actual favorite. If you can say this is my favorite Leo movie, because I had a hard time kind of figuring that as well too. But just based upon the brackets here, Sammy, tell me what's going to win, and what is your personal favorite? Maybe top two if you want to give your top two. That's fine.
Okay, so I think with survivor bias and the kind of people who follow us on Twitter, The Departed is going to be the eventual winner. And the film that I would vote for is Inception.
Right. Ducky?
Please, Grant.
If I'm not going with Gangs of New York or Man in the Iron Mask, then I'm betraying myself.
This is your favorite, or what's going to win, or both?
Gangs of New York will win up against. Wait, can Man in the Iron Mask go against Gangs of New York? Looks like it.
You're damn right it can.
I think Inception wins.
Oh, gosh, please no.
I think Inception beats The Departed. Well, actually, now that I look at it, would Inception be playing Departed in the Final Four? So I would say it's probably going to be Inception, and knowing the DFS community, it's probably Inception versus Gangs of New York, and Inception wins.
When does Titanic get knocked out? I want everyone's take on it.
I think it gets knocked out at Catch Me If You Can.
Yeah,
I think so too.
Whatever wins between Once Upon a Time and Catch Me If You Can, because it's Once Upon a Time does have a chance because of recency bias of winning.
True.
I think whoever wins, I think it loses to either the 8 or the 9. And I think Gangs of New York probably sneaks its way in. And
yeah, that's the thing I like. Django. I don't think it beats Gangs of New York. Like that was the one seed that I think was easily beatable.
I mean, I love that they get to go heads up. That's going to be an epic battle. Yeah. Epic.
And as far as my personal choice, I mean, because I was thinking this last night, I said I might actually think The Aviator is my favorite Leo movie, but I don't know if I'd go with that. Departed probably would be my favorite Leo movie. But Aviator keeps creeping up on me on that one, and I think
The Aviator is the lowest seed that has a shot at winning.
Yeah,
that's a good take.
Yeah,
that's a very good take. I think that's true.
Because I think it could beat, because as I'm showing right here, it's playing Revenant. I think it could beat Revenant. But that gives you then Aviator, Departed probably in the next round, which
it's Aviator and the Man in the Iron Mask.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
It's not going to be the Man in the Iron Mask. It's not happening, Grant. Give it up. Get that dream.
Again, I have a lot of free time on my hand during quarantine. I'm just going to be creating Twitter accounts like crazy just to go vote.
If Man in the Iron Mask wins, that's a worse win than Shaq beating Kareem in the best college basketball player of all time.
What an old man take from Ducky.
How do you get through it? That was a crime. That was a crime.
Devin, by the way, our producer, chiming in. His pick for favorite Leo movie is Inception, but he thinks the winners are potentially either The Departed or Catch Me If You Can. Go ahead.
Nice.
I thought I heard somebody say something. I knew I was hearing something. Ducky, be professional. Unbelievable. Did we just get a boxer shot? Is he wearing boxers?
I hope so.
I got pants on. Don't worry. I wasn't going to torture you.
Dude, if we got a ball shot at the end of this podcast, it would just...
I was showing brain.
Chef's kiss. Right. Did we just lose video now? I feel like we lost video.
We deserve to lose video. The FCC's come down and shut us down immediately.
The seventh grievance. They finally chimed in and said, that's enough. We got to get this thing done with. I much appreciate you guys, joining me, having this conversation. It was fun. Thank you for, I was going to say waking up some of you guys on the West Coast. We're filming this, of course, on a Saturday afternoon. We'll be putting it up on Monday. for the morning grind. Before we step aside and get out of here, each one of you, I wanted to just ask what you're up to as far as content-wise, or whatever you want to do. Where can people find you on the Twitter machine? Sammy, you go first.
My Twitter feed is just so awful. Like, you shouldn't follow me. Like, it's just come down to like COVID and politics. It's really just, it's at Sammy Reid FI. Just don't do it. Yeah. As far as work goes, man, I'm just grinding a bunch of online poker and working my job, taking care of my kids. So as far as like DFS content, we'll see what happens when things come back, and hopefully that's soon.
You're a live poker guy. Have you seen the pictures of the tables that they've thrown out there in some states as far as?
Plexiglass and masks. I can't. I mean, there was like at Hollywood Park or wherever, there was like these mad lines for these tables, and it's like, dude, just imagine being like, oh, I can't wait to go play live poker and plexiglass. Like, let's go. It's like, bro, get on Google, find somewhere to play online. Like, don't do this to yourself.
Yeah, no, it's the Seminole Hard Rock.
The Seminole, yeah.
In Tampa, I believe. Yeah, and also probably in Southport as well.
It's like, my friend made this point about that. There's so many angle shooters that'll be like, I didn't say raise, and things like that. Because you can't hear anybody because you're behind a wall of plexiglass. It's like there's going to be every angle shooter is going to find a way to make this work. So I love playing live poker. There's no chance in hell I'm playing at a casino right now. So.
Yeah, it just looks miserable. Never mind anything not worth getting into, like health. It just looks like a miserable experience.
Yeah, and it's not like live poker players are known for their extremely good hygiene at any point. It just seems like the worst possible place you could be.
Yeah, a few days after the quarantine, the rumors of the quarantine started, I went to Hollywood Park in LA, and a guy was passing around hand sanitizer, and I didn't trust it. It was like it was like such a degenerate. It was like low stakes at Hollywood Park is like basically. I call Dean sometimes after I'm done playing, and I'm just disgusted with humanity after that point. It's.
Well, you're just mad because you got your Queen's beater cracked or whatever, and you're upset that somebody called you and they shouldn't have called you.
Well, yeah, they called me with 9 deuce. What the hell? Yeah.
Ducky, tell the people where they can find you.
I'm at Duckiesuccumbs. That's DUCKIE, or as Dan Bach used to call it, Ducky's Crumbs, if you didn't know how to pronounce it. I'm at Twitter. I do tend to piss off some of the conservative people online, so just note that.
No, that's all. I'm going to shoot you a follow. Tell me again what the handle is.
Oh God, we're not making this a political.
Duckiesuccumbs at Duckiesuccumbs. But I also I did a lot of music and movie stuff there too, and occasionally I piss off Dean by mentioning famous people I've met.
Yes.
And as I did on this podcast today.
Brant, what are your takes on Twitter?
My takes on Twitter are almost always alcohol, food, or golf related.
Well, there you go. And what's your Twitter account so I can follow you?
Neiffer07.
All right. We got to step aside. We got to get out of here. We kept you guys long enough. If you stuck with us this entire time, we much appreciate it. If you guys are watching us on YouTube, again, this is on the podcast network as well, the RotoGrinders Morning Grind Podcast Network. But if you're watching us on YouTube, feel free to throw the thumbs up in there and tell us your favorite movie and tell us what movie we forgot, because I'm sure 20 wasn't enough. We have some Critters stands. We didn't get everything included for whatever reason. Our apologies to the fans of, I don't know, what do we miss out there? Total Eclipse. We didn't talk about Total Eclipse. Sorry about that. With that, feel free to chime in, give your opinion, your favorite Leo movie. Good times for sure. And stay tuned for the links. We're gonna have the battle on Twitter. I'll be tweeting it out. I'm sure you guys will be retweeting it as well too. It'll be good times for sure. Starting Monday. With that said, thank you to Sammy. Thank you to Shawn Hugus, aka Duckiesuccumbs, and to Grant Neiffer as well. Thank you for D-Train, Devin for waking up and producing the show. I'm Dean. Thank you for listening. We're out of here. Holler!
Hey, kids.